Welcome to the show here on sportsnetusa.net. We've got our crew tonight, and we've got a guest with us. And, of course, it's a standard two-man crew, the guy in the upper right on your screen who looks a lot older than he really is. That's Title IX, a.k.a. Corey Neyland. Hey, Corey, how's it going? There we go.
It's going.
And, of course, it's going. The man in the upper left, who is as old, or maybe older, well, he looks older than he really is. That's me, the Buddha of Babylon, sportsnetusa.net. And we always have our great producer, Ed Ford, with us every night. So I'm going to call Ed the Gila Monster, since he lives in 150-degree weather. He's with us tonight. And, of course, we're lucky enough to have the former athletic director at Orange Lutheran, the current athletic director and PE coach at Sunny Hills, Paul Jones. Paul, it's great to see you, and it's a pleasure having you on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me. I love getting an opportunity to see you gentlemen and talk to you.
Very good. You know what, Paul, I've got to ask. I mean, you're the youngest of us three in this screen. If we throw Ed in there, you're the youngest of us four. And I really do have to wonder, a man who is as talented as you are, as skilled as you are, how did you start your road in the world of being an athletic director? When did it start? Where did it take you? How did you get there? Because there's a lot of young people out there are going to say, wait a minute, what is he, all of 20 and he's an AD? So how did you get to where you were for your first athletic director job?
Well, first, let me say, Mark, I love the mustache. That is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So I actually, it was a very roundabout way, because I was not interested in getting into education at all. My mom's side of the family, they're all educators and pastors, and my dad's side of the family is kind of everything else. And so my goal was to be like Stuart Scott. And so that's how I met you gentlemen, because, Rashawn and I were going through the program, and, so I was actually, I interned at Warner Brothers record label and got to work for them. And then I worked for KTLA in their sports department and producing the evening news. And then I went to Fox Sports, worked in on-air promotions over there for some time. And then I really wanted to follow my passion of getting on camera and being a sports reporter. And so I went to City Cable 3 in Torrance, and I was a sports reporter over there. And so I was coordinating all of my interviews and shoots with the athletic directors of the high schools and colleges. And that's really where I found a passion for athletic directing, because there were a couple students at Torrance High School that I was mentoring. And I said, these guys have a cool schedule. They get to interact with kids and sports. This is awesome. So I went to Concordia University and got my master's in athletic administration, and I got my teaching credential in PE. And then I got a PE job at Lutheran school. And so I was there for about 3 years. So, for nothing but the grace of God, he took me on the roundabout path, because he knew I needed it. If I went straight into education, it wouldn't have worked out for me. And so I had to go the long way. And so I was at Hepatha after my first year there. The young lady who was the athletic director got married and moved away. And so they asked me if I would be the AD, and I said, absolutely. And the young lady who was the PE chair retired. So they asked me if I would take over, and I said, absolutely. And so for the next 2 years, I was the athletic director and PE chair and coaching all the boys' sports. So I was there for 3 years, and then I got the opportunity to go over to Norco High School as running the discipline program, and I was an assistant coach in the football program. So I was there for a year, and then I got my first athletic directing job up at Templeton High School up in San Luis Obispo. So I'd say for the people, for the kids or whoever out there who's changing career paths, I changed my career path at about 25 years old, got out of entertainment and went into education. For those who are struggling to find a date or find a job, be okay with rejection, because I applied for, while I was at Norco, I probably applied for about 15 to 20 different jobs, and I got one callback. And the callback that I got was Templeton High School in San Luis Obispo. And so, yeah, I mean, I went up and interviewed. Simple-minded me, I got the call and it said Los Angeles County. So I was like, oh, sweet. I'll move to Cerritos and just drive up to LA, maybe move to Long Beach. And, since I'm from Orange County, I'll still be in the area. So then when I went on the interview, I pull up the direct and like, oh, this is 4 hours away. I'm going to have to move. So yeah, I mean, it's like driving to Vegas. So nice 4 hour drive. So yeah, I ended up moving up to San Luis Obispo. I actually lived in Atascadero, and I was the AD at Templeton High School. So it was a very valuable experience being up there. My principal, Andrew Cherry, is a phenomenal person, great mentor. And so I really enjoyed myself, learned a lot up at Templeton High School. And then I had a buddy, another God thing. One of my buddies gives me a call and says, "Hey, Orange Lutheran's looking for an athletic director." And I said, "Well, that's cool and all, but they just did a nationwide search for a football coach, so there's no way that they're gonna, hire little old me to be the athletic director." And so my buddy kept poking me for a couple of weeks and said, just apply, send your resume and email and stuff in. And so I eventually did a couple of weeks later, and I got the job. I mean, like I said, it was a God thing, because my buddy stayed on me. And yeah, I sent my information in, and they had a candidate in mind, but they received my information, and they knew that I was an alumni, and they asked some people on campus about me. And fortunately, for the high school students out there who think it does not matter how you act when you're in school, it matters. It matters a lot, because they asked, some of the teachers that I had and administrators, they asked them about me, and they said, "Oh, he was a respectful young man, never got in trouble, always doing the right thing, and he was a leader on campus." And so, with the good report from those people, I was able to, they felt confident enough to give me the job. So I frequently tell students that your conduct in high school actually matters, because you never know who you're going to need down the road. So, fortunately, I was blessed to get the job at OLU and spend the last 6 years there. And it was a great experience. I mean, being able to lead your alma mater it's a once in a lifetime experience. And I built so many relationships, and I learned so much, being in the Trinity League, definitely the greatest league in the nation for high school sports, top to bottom. So, from football, basketball, baseball, being able to have the number one baseball program in the nation year after year, shout out to Coach Borba, was definitely a blessing. So, I got to learn from many ADs in the league. So yeah, it was great. You get to see top competition every single night, from Mater Dei to J Sarah to Bosco, Rosary, Margarita, Servite. It was phenomenal. So a really good experience, and the school functions like a college. So I definitely got to learn a lot, and it was phenomenal just to be a part of a school that gave so much to me, and to have an opportunity to give back and just invest in the school and invest in the students was a great opportunity. And so, I got married last July, and it was time for me to move on and shift my focus, to my family and a better opportunity for us. So here I sit now at Sunny Hills High School. I get to still be a Lancer, but I am the athletic director at Sunny Hills High School now. So from one Lancer program to the next, Sunny Hills 1959, the original Lancers of Orange County. But that's I'm very blessed to be where I am. In Sunny Hills is a phenomenal school with just great people, solid principals. So yeah, and John Caffrey did a great job as the AD for many years and a great foundation. So I'm really excited to be a Lancer and wear black and gold.
And before we get into that, before we get into being wearing that black and gold and being another Lancer, did you ever get distraught, or how'd you keep your head up with all that rejection before you got your first gig?
Fortunately, I am a very confident person, and so I put my Steve Urkel face on and just went after
Oh,
it. So you're going to get rejected. I played baseball. You're not always going to get on base. You're not always going to hit a home run. So, and honestly, playing sports was a huge part of my resilience and also the foundation that my parents gave me. I mean, I'm the youngest of three boys, and so I got beat up a lot as a kid. So you have to be resilient. So I mean, you always got to be able to bounce back. And, I truly believe that God has a plan for me in my life. And so, if one door closes, another one is going to open. And so I always do my best to just stay faithful and know that if this person or this school said no, then that means it just wasn't the right opportunity for you. And that was meant for somebody else because he has something else in store for me. And so, I took the rejection and kept on applying.
All right.
Paul, I'm going to take you back though, because it's, let's say you were fortunate to get the jobs you were, but which one when you first started? I mean, nobody just walks in and becomes an athletic director. They have to have a mentor that gets them to that level. Who was that first person that took you and got you to that next level?
So I'm so blessed to have so many great mentors. So actually, while I was working at City Cable 3 in Torrance, I would go to lunch with the athletic director at Orange Lutheran at the time. So I would go to lunch with him like once a month and just pick his brain. That was Mark Davis. And so I would ask him, what's it like to be the athletic director? I'm shifting gears and I want to be an AD. What advice do you have for me? And so Coach Davis was great for me because I just got to ask him questions and learn from him. And so he's actually the one that connected me with Hepatha Lutheran School to get me on the path and into education. So I had Coach Davis. I also had Jim Kunow, who is a phenomenal coach, mentor, leader. I talk to Coach pretty frequently, and he put Orange Lutheran on the map with what he did with the football program. And so I picked Coach Kunau's brain. And when I went to Templeton High School, my principal Andrew Cherry, he and I were attached at the hip. And so another great person, as well as Gene Murphy at Fullerton College. When I was playing football over there, I used to pick Coach Murphy's brain because he's a wealth of knowledge, and so God rest his soul. But yeah, Coach Murphy, Mr. Cherry, Coach Kunow, Coach Davis. I've really been blessed, and then even at Orange Lutheran, I had Coach Dennis Eastman, who was still one of my mentors, just like Coach Kunow, and Craig Tubin as well. And so I've been really blessed to have a lot of people invest in me. And so I've had the opportunity to pay it forward. As well, Coach Giles from Fullerton College, who is now the AD, he's also invested in me. So I've really been blessed.
And one more question about the background I got for you. Now, how does your entertainment? Because I know you're a broadcaster, you were a DJ, you do all sorts of things. How has that helped you become a better AD?
Just being comfortable being in front of people, because I'm actually kind of an introvert, but you got to be in front of people, and you have to know how to control the crowd and move the crowd, as Rakim says. And so,
I like that.
it was
I like
important.
that.
So, best example I could give you, my first year, or when I was at Templeton High School, we had this big pep rally, and I'm out there DJing for the pep rally. It's probably, the first or second week of school, and I start playing a song, and a bunch of kids rush the floor and just start dancing, which is rather uncommon in a pep rally, and it was not planned. And so I look at the principal, and Mr. Cherry is like, oh man, what do I do? These kids are going crazy, and I'm thinking, man, these kids are having a great time. This is awesome. And so I play the song, and then I end it, and tell the kids to go back to their seats, and it was just all good and fun, and they stopped, went back to their seats, and nothing to worry about, all good. And I just remember Andrew was like, yeah, I thought it was like an emergency. I didn't know what to do because the kids rushed the dance floor or the court, and so just being able to be in control of the situation, because in entertainment you have to be able to speak clearly, properly, and be a good communicator, but you also have to have the ability to control people, if you will, or influence them is probably a better word to use. Because when I'm DJing, I'm influencing the crowd to dance, move, have a good time, and I also have to be a good communicator in my role as an athletic director, because there's so much delegation and people that I have to talk to. So it is just that important to be able to communicate with people and influence them positively.
Paul, let's stay on that note too, because most of the athletic directors that you brought up were all men. Orange Lutheran, I've got to give them a little love here because we've done Orange Lutheran softball. So on the flip side, what was the attitude for a man walking in being an athletic director and then dealing with the female side who does not, in sports, doesn't get a lot of love? How did you approach that so that everybody felt like no matter what sport, it was embraced by Paul Jones, the athletic director at all the schools you've been at?
So year one at Templeton, my goal was to make sure that every sport felt loved and appreciated and got attention. So, whether it's tennis, cross country, golf, doesn't matter to me. I want everyone to feel supported. So, from the coaches to the students to the parents, I want them all to feel supported, because everybody is a part of the team, and that includes cheer, the band. At every school I've been the AD at, I've always had a very good relationship with cheer coach and the band director, because I was in the band in high school while also being a three-sport athlete. So I understand how important that marriage is, if you will. And so, don't laugh. My mom made my brothers and I be in the band if we wanted to play a sport, so we had to play an instrument.
Hey, that's okay.
Geek
Me, Mark and
athlete.
I were just talking. We were just talking about the band and how important that is at sporting events just a couple of days ago. So we understand that. What instrument did you play?
The trumpet,
All right.
yes.
Okay.
So
And
yeah,
speaking,
that. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, when you did that at Orange Lutheran, everybody felt comfortable and appreciated. Was it easy because the teams were so good, or did you have to go in there? Was there any pushback towards you?
You know, every team, every player, coach, everybody wants to feel supported, but everybody has a different support language. And so that's something that I figured out while I was at Orange Lutheran. Because when I was at Templeton, you know, single guy up here by myself, don't know anybody. So I'll be at school all hours of the night. It doesn't matter. I'll be here and make sure that everybody feels supported, and all of our sports are on campus. And then getting to Orange Lutheran, where, we're landlocked in facilities. And so you've got baseball that's playing at 2 to 3 offsite locations. Track is at an offsite location. Tennis is at an offsite. Aquatics is at an offsite. Obviously, golf is at an offsite. And so you're like, okay, I'm going to spread myself thin trying to get to everything and support everyone. And so I did that for a while, and it was tough. Let's see, a couple years in, I was asked to also coach freshman football. And so I did that as well as running, being AD. And so that was challenging, but my goal was to learn each coach's support language. And so what I found was, my aquatics director, he's happy if you show up, great. If you don't, it's not going to impact him too much. But if, he comes with a purchase order or needs some help with something, take care of it. And he's good. There's other coaches that want to see you at their events, and they don't feel supported unless they see you out at their various events. And there's other coaches that just need you to take care of stuff, and other coaches who want you to talk to them or pop by their classroom and check on them and see how they're doing. And so, just like the book, Love Languages, I have found that coaches have support languages. And so trying to find what those support languages are to open up the lines of communication is extremely important. So, yeah, just moving through, coaches want to feel supported and kids want to feel supported, whether you're a tennis coach, a golf coach, or that player or student. And, I've had coaches say like, hey, I'd love to see you at, my golf match or, at one of my games. And I'm like, okay, I've got it in my calendar. I'm supervising 5 different games this week and, maybe 7. But, I'm logging the miles and I'm going to try to get everywhere and then also get home and be a good husband and father. So it can be challenging at times, but, I do my best to keep the lines of communication open so that coaches understand that they're valued and appreciated. And if I don't make it out to, your game or your match right away at the beginning of the season, I still got love for you, still got love for the kids. But, at times, coaching is a thankless job, if you will, because people don't always understand the time and effort that coaches put in and really grind to help kids be successful. And sometimes it's like that when you're in positions of leadership. People don't always understand the grind that you go through to support others, but that's what leadership is. You have an opportunity to support other people and prop them up. So, that's my goal, and that's what I do. That's why I like being in the position of leadership so that I can help others and build championship human beings.
Yeah, Corey jumped in there, so I'm going to jump in there again. Paul, you talk about this, but I don't know about your first schools, but we do know Orange Lutheran, which charges $14,900 to go to school there, means that you probably, and if I'm wrong, even more than that. Well, I read the website. It said $14,900 on the website. I don't know. Maybe I should have said $17,900. But my question is, I don't know about the other schools that you were an AD at, but was there money problems? What was the difference from you working at maybe a public school compared to that parochial school? And how did you, when you say you're giving coaches love, Corey Neyland walks in and says, Coach, hey, AD, I need, and you go, sorry, man, you're cross country. No new uniforms. How did you deal with that from a business? Because that's what education is. It's a business. It's about money. I need to know the sad part of being the AD.
The sad part about being an AD is not being able to grant everyone's wish or wishes. Now, in my experience or experiences, the private school financial system is set up differently than the public school financial system. And so, where each school may have a booster club. At some private schools, they have a development office that's in charge of doing all fundraising for the school. However, each private school is set up a little differently where The development office might just fundraise for the entire school, or they might do it
Yeah.
for just athletics. So I'd say the toughest thing for me, if a coach comes in and says, "Hey, I want to purchase XYZ," and we don't have the funds for it. Now, that wasn't really an issue at Orange Lutheran.
Huh.
We're, now I will also say that coaches were
Sorry.
a large part of coaches did a great job of fundraising. And so at Orange Lutheran, I mean, we have an operating budget and we had a program budget. And so, coaches were very much a part of the fundraising business, if you will. And so, I don't want people to think that, just because we were at Orange Lutheran, we just got money coming from everywhere and coaches didn't have to do anything, because that would be false. Coaches were actually very much involved in the fundraising process. And so it's a lot of work. Like we talked a lot about coaches not spending the majority of their time coaching, because there's so much administrative work that they had to do, where you've got to coordinate your 3 to 5 levels of teams. You got to make sure that your communication is out, your scheduling, you have to fundraise because you're all in charge of that. And there's also sports fees at a private school, which that helps out a lot, actually.
Okay.
I'd say the toughest part for me as the athletic director, probably when a family is struggling with their sport fee. That part that's the toughest part, because you never want a student to miss out on an opportunity because of finances, because it's not that student's fault. It's a situation that they're in, and there could be a multitude of factors, but I think that is the absolute toughest part, is that conversation, or just knowing that there's a family in need, and the kid has to go get a job or is sleeping in their car, because the family's working hard to make ends meet, and it's, well, playing this sport costs X number of dollars. How can we help you reach those dollars so that you can play or participate? And that's tough. Obviously, in the public system, you don't have to deal with that at all, and so that's a blessing for me, not to have those conversations. But it happens. That would be the absolute toughest part, and that's hard for me. It's hard for coaches, but coaches did a great job helping students out. I'd say that the coaches at OLU, since we're talking about them, some of the unsung heroes, because they have to put in a lot of work to make their program successful, and you're competing at that Division I nationally recognized level, but you've got to take care of all of the little things, fundraising, sports fees, making sure families are good and taken care of. You got to talk to your college coaches and assist in getting kids out to go to college, and so it's a lot. Coaches did a great job, though.
I would imagine. Mr. Neyland.
I'm just enjoying the conversation between you guys. Speaking of a lot, moving forward to Sunny Hills, this COVID-19 thing that we're in right now. I know you've probably been talking about it every single day since you've been hired with all. How are you dealing with that? How is the school dealing with that? And what are the biggest challenges?
Well, it is such a blessing to be a part of a district that is so forward thinking and on top of everything. Like the Fullerton Joint Union High School District is like, it's so mind blowing. Like I show up on campus or we're Zooming and, we're getting district information saying, okay, hey, this is what we're doing. I talked to the league ADs and everybody's on board. Great. This is what we're doing. We're going this way. Principal Alan Witten and all of our assistant principals, like everybody is dialed in. And so, we talk about COVID. I talking to the head coaches, and they've had their summer practice plans of what they had already planned to do when the district was allowed to start practicing again. And so now we've tweaked those a little bit and just applied them to August, which it still feels like summer. I guess it is, but we've just applied that their previous schedules to now, and so coaches have done a great job. COVID is tough. I feel bad for the seniors. Last year, at OLU, our baseball program, softball program, um, boys volleyball program, we're all going to be CIF contenders. And so, I feel for them. I feel for the seniors across the nation who didn't get an opportunity to compete. And so, I just have my fingers crossed for this year that they get an opportunity to compete as well. I think CIF has done a great job of tailoring the season, condensing it. I know Rob at CIF and the commissioners really put their heads together to come up with something that would work for all 3 seasons to be condensed into basically 2. But to give all of the students an opportunity to play and compete, I think is awesome. And so, just hoping that, folks wear their masks or whatever is necessary, and the kids get an opportunity to compete, because there are some kids who are depending on this senior season to get scholarships and get out. And so I really want them to have that opportunity. And so, COVID is rough, but it's been rough across the nation and across the world. So, we're taking it in stride, but, Sunny Hills, the staff has done a phenomenal job. I mean, everything is coordinated and people know what to do when they're supposed to do it. And so it's the best situation that I could have come into. So I'm extremely blessed.
Paul, you just brought up about the district that you're in, Fullerton Union High School District. So when the district gets together, how much input do the ADs have? We've discussed, should a season go on? Should a season not start in spring between Corey Neyland, myself, and people we know? So how much input do the ADs have on what should actually be played, when, and if it should be played at all in this next high school season?
I started about 2.5 weeks ago, so I'll have to get back to you on that.
That's a great political answer, isn't it, Corey? He's already started on me. Wow. Looking for a scoop, man. Go ahead, Corey.
I honestly don't know.
Now, I was going to go back to the seniors that you dealt with at Orange Lutheran last year, specifically with the baseball and softball teams, always nationally ranked along with the volleyball. In a leadership position, not as a coach, but what do you tell players and coaches in situations where they cannot fulfill their, let's say, their senior goal as a high school student, as a high school athlete?
It was so tough. I had some good conversations with some students and with coaches, because you really feel bad for them. I mean, from prom to senior night, like, these are moments that you look forward to and that you're never going to get back. And it really stinks to, like, we had a kid, Mr. Heidel, our catcher over at OLU, who was depending on his senior season to get a scholarship. Fortunately, he was able to, but, these guys are ready to go repeat, or I should say three-peat, as, National High School Invitational champs. So it's tough. I mean, it's really, actually, that would have been a four-peat. But, yeah, so the conversations I have with them is just letting them know that there's a plan for their life. And although that this stinks, it's a bump in the road. And, it's hard for high school students because it's like, this is the end all be all. This guy likes me. This girl doesn't like me. Um, and as we get older, we understand like there's more to life than some of the things that we freaked out about in high school. But these are also some moments that they'll never have an opportunity to get back. And I'm sensitive to that. And so just listening more than anything. I mean, there's not a whole lot that I can say to bring comfort to a student, but just listen to see where they're at. What do they need help with? How can I support them? And let them know that they're valued and they're special. And, although that this didn't work out, like there's a plan for you. There's a plan for your future. And, this is going to be but a blip, a little speed bump in the grand scheme of your life. And so, it definitely stinks that you missed, like I said, prom, senior nights. If you were banking on this season, Max Ratchick was, top pitcher, and we were looking forward to an exciting season from him and the entire baseball team. And so it was a really special group that, Coach Borba had, as he does just about every year. But, to miss out on that, and, our volleyball kids, softball, like I said, cross country, track. I mean, our cross country team had one CIF, and all those kids were running track. And so, you feel bad for those kids. You feel bad for lacrosse because this was going to be season 2 of lacrosse at Orange Lutheran, because I started those programs for boys and girls lacrosse over there. And so, yeah, it's tough, but just listen as much as I can.
Paul and Corey bringing that up, and he's talking about the transition for the high schoolers. You've got a great job at Orange Lutheran. COVID hits. You don't get to help those seniors move on, but now you've moved on. So I've got to ask you, if I'm not stepping on toes here, why now, especially with what's going on? I mean, why not stay where you were at? Why did you make that transition to Sunny Hills?
It's a better opportunity for my family and I. I don't think you're stepping on any toes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the COVID situation, but COVID is nationwide, it's worldwide, and so this was a great opportunity. I mean, Sunny Hills is a great school and a great district that excels in academics and athletics with a phenomenal staff, great coaches. Like, it's a part of a great district, and being that I have my teaching credential, the public transition was calling my name, and this was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. And so I was very fortunate that they took a chance on me, or had confidence in hiring
No,
me.
it's not a chance. It's a good thing. No chance. All skill.
Yeah, it's just a really good opportunity. When you're at a school like Orange Lutheran, you get different opportunities, and when you leave, you want to make sure that you leave and go to a very good opportunity as well. That's going to be great for your career, great for you personally, financially, great for your family. And Sunny Hills checks all of those boxes for me. And my previous assistant AD at Orange Lutheran was Carl Galloway, and Carl, he's now the AD at Vista Marietta High School. And so, the public transition is a blessing. My mom was a public school teacher, so I understand the what comes along with teaching and working at a public school. And so I was around it my entire life, and yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to invest in the community of Fullerton that gave so much to me as a student athlete, going to Cal State Fullerton and playing football at Fullerton College. So to be back in the city of Fullerton is really exciting. And so, yeah, I had to take the opportunity to, it was a great opportunity that I could not pass up. So I was very blessed.
And did you have a question, Mark?
No, go ahead. I
Okay.
thought you were going to
Okay.
jump in there.
All right. So you mentioned the mentors you had previously at the beginning of our conversation.
Mhm.
What type of mentor are you to the students and even to the coaches, and do you have that what they call that open door policies and managers have in an office building? What type of mentor are you?
So my goal has always been to build leaders for life, and we want to build championship human beings who excel in the classroom, in life, and in their sport. Really, that is the goal. Like I said, I had so many people that invested in me. I would have been extremely fortunate, and so I have an open door policy because I want students to be able to come in and vent if they need to. I've had students who come in and they want to talk about my girlfriend, my boyfriend, or music, movies, race relations, etc. And so, um, power cord.
That's okay. Tell her hi. Tell her come on in.
I was going to
It's a
say that
it's a
it's
family
the
show.
Gabby
No
se-
worries.
Corey, it's the Gabby segment. The dog just came in.
I know she's like,
That's
I'm
a
not
sign.
dressed. My hair, oh my goodness.
That's okay. Tell her to watch this. Look at my hair. Then she got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I didn't shave. It's all good.
Mine okay?
But
So I'm sorry. Back.
yeah, I have an open door policy. I tell students, come by my office anytime. If you need something, let me know. I'm here to listen and help you. Because this day and age, we understand that students are dealing with so many different things. There's so many things that are thrown at them. You've got I graduated from high school in 2002. So social media wasn't a thing. Cell phones were just coming out. And so, we got into plenty of trouble and had enough distractions. But now you've got these kids where they've got, every kid has a cell phone, they got an iPhone, etc. You got social media, from Twitter to TikTok to Instagram to Facebook, but they don't use Facebook because the parents use Facebook. So I use Facebook, but I had a MySpace, so whatever. But
Yeah.
it is. I just have an open door policy because, like I said, kids have so many distractions, and we see that suicide is a really big thing. Unfortunately, where kids just feel the pressure and just feel like what, I'd rather be not present. And that's horrible. Never want a kid to feel that way. And so if I can help them out in any way by listening to them, if they're struggling with anything, then I will absolutely do that. So yeah, I love having kids come to my office. I can talk to them and just try to drop some knowledge and wisdom on them because I had people do that for me. And that's what it's about at the end of the day, paying it forward so that we can help other people because we had people who helped us, and so I just want kids to be healthy physically and mentally, and able to progress and understand that while high school may seem like the most important thing in the world at this point in time, it's not the end all be all, and you will get through your struggles and come out on the other side, and you will be refined. As iron sharpens iron, you'll come out as pure gold, diamonds under pressure. You name it, that's what I want these kids to come out with. And champions are bred in the face of adversity, and we're going to face adversity in our lives, but we need to learn how to deal with it and get through it so that we can be resilient and come out on the other side of it. So that's really my goal and my focus. That's part of what I'm working on in my PhD as well. Is finding how coaches can help students be resilient, student athletes be resilient through or servant leadership relationships.
You know what I love, Corey? I had Paul on, Michelle Crew Classic interview, and I called him Dr. Paul Jones. So it just shows you I'm a prognosticator. I know he's going to have that PhD. Paul, I'm going to stick
That's
with
right.
mentoring because we talked about that. But Corey and we had Gus Martinez on last week with us from Nogales High School, former high school coach at Fullerton High School, and that's why Corey and I know him so well. The other mentoring part has to be, unfortunately for an athletic director, that three initials that high schools have to deal with, CIF, because CIF seems to always be changing something. Hey, let's change the playoffs. Let's change who's playing here and there. How do you deal as an administrator with high school coaches that roll their eyes and go, what's happening to us now? We've gone from Division 5 to Division 2. We don't stand a chance. Where's the mentoring aspect or the fathering for a young guy with older coaches at the high school level?
Well, it's a lot of conversation and communication. CIF has actually done a good job, in my opinion, with competitive equity, which has given other schools an opportunity to be successful in, whatever division they should actually be placed in. And so it's kind of cool for me to be able to see both sides of it, because at Orange Lutheran, it's like, football, you're going to likely be in Division 1. But, as you see this past season, we were in Division 2 and, lost to Long Beach Poly. But it was equitable. Game went into overtime. And so I appreciate all of the work that CIF is putting in, because they're trying to make a lot of things better and, more competitive, where you don't have these huge blowouts in the first rounds. And so that much I appreciate. Sometimes, you get the NCAA type lens on CIF, where it's like, the NCAA is changing a rule just to change a rule. Why are you doing that? Like, just because? Or, the officials organizations will change rules just because. And it's like, well, that rule changed? I didn't even know that rule changed. Like, okay. But what I can say about CIF is I actually appreciate the competitive equity push that Rob Wygod has made, because I feel like there have been a lot of positive changes. I look at the girls basketball team at Orange Lutheran, who has had a lot of success. We won 3 CIF championships in my 6 years there. And, being able to look at that and say, we were in all very competitive matchups. I mean, even the last CIF championship we won, like, we were major underdogs. Matter of fact, I believe we were an at-large, and we beat Rolling Hills Prep, which, our coach would say, like, we had no business beating them, but we came out shooting threes like it was NBA Jam. And so, I appreciate the competitive equity work. And they've done a lot of work with sit-out periods and transfers, and so they've done a lot of work. I know, you could say that working at the CIF office is a thankless job, because you're getting emails and phone calls from parents and coaches. But I appreciate the federation that we have, because it actually gives us an opportunity to go out and compete, and gives kids and coaches and schools the opportunity to really get behind their school and show their support in their school spirit. And, it gives a school an opportunity to go out and actually win a CIF title, when normally they may not make the playoffs, or they get placed in another division and they get blown out. And now you actually have an opportunity to have success and hang a banner. So, I'm all for it.
I was waiting for my partner to jump in here.
No. You know what? I was just gonna say, that's it for me. I mean, I was gonna let you enjoy the rest of your night. If there's anything else you want to mention, Mark.
No, and Corey, I was with you too. I was going to let you really ask that last question. The one thing I do want to say is, Paul, it has always been a pleasure to have known you and to still to know you today. And my one last thing I've got to ask before I let you go: where is the future taking Paul Jones? do you look down the road already, or are you just going to enjoy where you are now, take a breath, and say, Mark, wherever my religious beliefs takes me, where my belief in my spiritual guidance takes me, or do you have a plan down the road before I let you go?
Quite honestly, wherever the good Lord decides to take me is where I will be. But I am enjoying Sunny Hills. Like I said, I've started like 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So I am getting my bearings. I was on a tour today with our facilities and maintenance guys. And so, I am learning the lay of the land, and, who do I talk to for purchase orders, and who do I go to for this and that. And so, it's really exciting for me to be in this environment, to be at Sunny Hills, to be in the public sector, and to just have an opportunity to impact more students. That's really my goal. The enrollment at Orange Lutheran is 1,300, and Sunny Hills has 2,350 students. And so that's really what it is about for me, is to impact more students' lives. And so, with a large campus, with so many students, and now I have an opportunity to teach PE as well, which is something that I was really excited to do, because it would give me an opportunity to build organic relationships with students by, being in the classroom with them. And so, having an opportunity to see them every day, where, you're walking across campus and you actually know who kids are, because you get to see them frequently and interact with them. And so that was something that I was really excited about. And so, I don't have any plans to make any moves. My family and I live in Orange County. I'm, around the corner from where my parents live. And so, I'm really just enjoying this new opportunity and experience, learning the lay of the land, getting to build relationships with students and impact them. And so, I'm enjoying this. I don't have any plans to get out of Orange County. Like I said, I get to invest back in the community of Fullerton, which gave so much to me. And so, I'm not looking down the road. School started last Tuesday, so I'm knocking all the dust off of. Okay, remote teaching, cool. You're remote and you're doing PE, awesome. Okay, take attendance. You haven't taken attendance in the last 7 years, so take attendance, check. Teaching PE, okay. Now we're using Google Classroom and our school software, and bridging the gap and linking them. So I've got enough on my plate to be looking right here in front of me, to make sure that everything is dialed in. And then I'm working with my coaches to ensure that we have all of our facilities and schedules coordinated properly, so that we don't run into any issues as we come up on, once we get kids back on campus and start games and practices. We've got a lot of really competitive programs at Sunny Hills. Football won CIF last year. The boys and girls soccer programs have perennially been powerhouses, as well as the aquatics program, girls basketball, boys basketball, baseball. And so, with these highly competitive programs and facilities, I want to make sure that we have everything coordinated so that all these programs can practice. Because, I want to hang a banner for soccer and football and baseball and softball. And so I want to make sure that these coaches, our coaches and our students, have an opportunity to get out and practice, full go, Lord willing. And so that's my goal. So I'm looking, Sunny Hills. I'm a Lancer. My wife is excited that she gets to wear black and gold, because black is her favorite color. I don't know if that's because it's me, but
not touching that.
Oh, I love it.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I am just I'm enjoying it. The people are great at Sunny Hills. The district is awesome. You've got some phenomenal superintendents, and just some really, really solid people. And I'm excited to be a part of the Freeway League because, the Freeway League is pretty impressive, from La Habra to Buena Park, Sonora, Troy, Fullerton. Yeah, I'm excited to be a part of the league. So, yeah, I'm just excited. So I get to be a Lancer. So, yeah, it's from one Lancer to the next. It's all good.
Well, we're
Well,
excited
Paul,
for you, Paul. Because I'm sorry, Mark.
go
I'm
ahead,
gonna let
Corey.
you in.
No,
We're excited. We're excited for you, Paul, because public education in Sunny Hills is getting a good one. I'm gonna shut up now.
that's funny. Corey, we were going to say the same thing. Paul, we want to thank you, the new AD at Sunny Hills, for being on the show with us tonight. For myself and my partner, Corey Neyland, and the face we don't see, Ed Ford. We want to thank you, Paul Jones, for being on the show with us tonight. And we wish you the best of luck this year and many years to come. And maybe the next time we talk, well, even though you tell me you're not moving, who knows where you might be. So for Corey, Paul, myself, and Ed Ford, this has been the show on SportsNetUSA.net.